I'm Karen McMahon with Pig Health Today, and I'm visiting with Paul Yeske, a veterinarian at Swine Vet Center in St. Peter, Minnesota. And Paul, just wanted to visit a little bit about batch farrowing. It sounds like something that's redone or remade from the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because I have enough gray hair, everybody's asking me a little bit about batch farrowing. I started my career. Many of the herds were in the process of using batch farrowing at that time, and today we are seeing herds going back to that. And if we look at batch farrowing, why do people want to go there? The biggest reason is for the wean to finish performance, and it gives a smaller farm the ability to use larger grow finish sites, and it allows some of these smaller farms to act like a bigger farm and be able to run a site all in, all out by site and be a reasonably sized site. And so that's the reason that people have gone back to batch farrowing. For the people on the farrowing side, batch farrowing isn't necessarily friendly. It's the batch. You're putting all the work into a short period of time, so you can have one group of pigs. And so that's one of the challenges at the farrowing site, is getting the work done in a short period of time where you would have spread it over a month. Because many of the batches, they farrow every 4 weeks, and so instead they put all the work they did over 4 weeks into 1 week.
Right.
And so it makes it more of a challenge from the farrowing side, but from the wean to finish side, you do get that one group of pigs. And so there's been some new technologies that have helped it from the days when I first started practice. And the trouble with batches is they fell apart because we didn't have good control of the reproductive cycle of the gilts. And so it took a lot of gilts and a lot of inventory to make sure you kept your batches full. And then if the batches didn't stay full, then people tended to open the breeding windows. The breeding windows opened, and all of a sudden you're continuous farrowing. And so now we have some of the hormonal tools that allow us to synchronize the gilts, and we can get the gilts into the right time for breeding, and then we can keep the groups very tight. And as we keep those groups very tight, then we can also control those groups, that farrowing time, and then get the full advantage of the batch.
What's a minimum and maximum size, would you say, of a sow farm that could do that?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a minimum size. I don't know if there's really a maximum size, to be honest with you. I think I'll give the economist answer, and it depends. And so, but I think it depends upon more what you're going to be filling downstream. It's more about what the sites you have to put pigs out in the wean to finish phase. We have a lot of farms, a lot of the farms that are under 2,500 farm sows tend to see this as an advantage because they can get those larger batches and use those larger finishing sites. So I would say many under 1,000 sows have transitioned. The 12 to 1,300s, a lot of those are transitioning there. We had one farm that was 5,000 sow, and they were thinking about going to a batch. And so just because of some of the size finishing sites that they had to work with in their system. So I'm not sure it's a size dependent number. But it does sometimes become, can you get the labor done? Can you get the movements done? Because you got to think about everything consolidating into a short period of time.
How about the health benefit?
Yeah, the health benefit is the same as it was in the past, is you get the chance to break the disease cycles. And versus the weekly flow, or what we'd say the more continuous farrowing, you get the opportunity to have the farrowing house completely empty. And so for some pathogens, it gives us those breaks we need. And that's the opportunity, and you're not producing pigs every week, and so some of these disease cycles break down faster. And so it helps to improve the health status, particularly, like I say, of the wean to finish pig, but it also helps the sow farm too, in that you're breaking some disease cycles that a weekly farrowing farm doesn't have the opportunity. They never have a totally empty farrowing house at one time.
What initially drove this trend to the batch farrowing?
Well, I think there's been batch farrowers forever, I shouldn't say forever, for a long time. And I think people saw the technology. People are trying to figure out, how can I make things work for me. And it particularly became a tool of some of these smaller farms to use some of the more conventional size finishing sites. And so that's probably the driver. And I think the driver, as you go into it and think about it, you need to think about it based upon the wean to finish performance. I think it's a great tool for people to use, and it's another tool in the toolbox that can help us.